What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Paul. This is the Leeds Therapy. I do hope you are doing well. Thank you as ever for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. On the screen, you will see a link to all of my socials. So particularly with YouTube, please make sure that you are subscribed, that you have your notifications turned on. If you want to make any comments, feel free, leave them in the comment section down below. Also as well, we're on all of your favorite podcast apps. So we're on Apple Music, we're on Spotify. If you just want to listen to my dulcet tones, that's where you will be able to find your ASMR version of the Leeds Therapy. So today's video is just a little bit about everybody's seeming favourite talking point at this moment in time, certain JSL or Strand Larsson. JSL, everybody in love, go on, put your hands up. But no, what I wanted to do was just kind of really put together a state of play as such, just kind of where we are, because at this moment in time, there's been no offers put in, there's nothing that's been done or anything like that. So we are pretty much the only club that has put its head above the parapet in terms of saying that we are interested or we have inquired about the player. We are aware of, and this is where, just to, in terms of what am I going to title this video? I'm probably going to title this video "The Merry-Go-Round That Is JSL." But for me, you've just got to, again, it's piecing all of the news together. And this isn't me going, these are definites, these are things that are going to happen, this is 100%. This is me just going, this is the information, make of it what you will, kind of thing. That's where my head is at with it all now. So we've obviously gotten interested in. There's an issue in terms of how we would structure the deal if we were going to look at purchasing the player. There would have to be some form of amortization, probably a little bit of money up front, and then amortize it over a 5-year deal for argument's sake. Or it could be that we loan him till the end of the season with an obligation to buy, and then again, we amortize that over a certain period of time. Graham Smith has come out and said that there is real belief, potentially, or there must be, at the very, very least, belief that Leeds feel like they can get a deal done for this player. Now, I know people are going to be going, but Pajau, I understand your misgivings with that and how you might feel about it, but at the same time, you have to remember this is a slightly different situation. Wolves are open to selling the player. That's 100%. But what they want is they want a bidding war. They want to be able to maximise the profits on it, as any club would want to do that. So the easiest way for them to do that actually is just to turn around and just say he's up for sale publicly and just put it out there. We know in the background that that's what they want to do. But there are other clubs that were historically linked with it. And this is where I just kind of want to chock together all of the information. So first one was West Ham were interested in the player, but they've just signed 2 strikers and they're keeping Callum Wilson. So the likelihood of that actually happening now would be so far stretched it wouldn't even be worth worrying about, because they're not going to have 4 strikers on the books, just in terms of the way that they're looking at it. Interestingly, funnily enough, apparently Tottenham are considering a move for Somerville, and they feel like they can get something done in the January window. That's just a mental stat for me, but whatever, I just thought I'd throw that in. We've then got the Crystal Palace situation. Now, the Crystal Palace situation is interesting because Mateta has come out, I'm going to say yesterday because it's Wednesday, and said, because today would be Thursday when this video goes out, has come out and said that he wants to leave. Juve were interested in him, but the Juve thing cooled. I don't think the Italians have got the money to be able to do that. But the thing that came up was Aston Villa, and it looks like there could be a potential of a let's wipe your face swap deal for Gesson to go in one direction and for Mateta to go in the other direction. And what we were worried about was that, or one of our concerns as fans is that Villa were looking at coming in for the player. That looks as though it's not going to happen now. Just in terms of, because of what's going on in that way. I mean, it would be mental for Crystal Palace to take Gesson, but I can see it happening just because of how mental Crystal Palace is at the moment. The other side of the Crystal Palace deal that you got to remember is that in essence it was Glasner that really wanted him to come, and with Glasner leaving at the end of the season, that kind of might damage the potential for that to actually happen. Not only that as well, you need to look at the situation at Crystal Palace and kind of understand what's going on there. It's a bit of a bin fire at this moment. Gay's just gone. Mateta's come out and said that he wants to leave. Sorry, I keep itching my nose. I've got an itchy hair that keeps sorry, you're all watching me pick my nose. Sorry. Gay's gone. Mateta said that he wants to leave. It's a bit of a bin fire down there. And then the other notable one in terms of people that were looking at it was definitely Nottingham Forest. He was 100% a Sean Dyche type player. Nottingham Forest have had a deal agreed for a 6'5" striker that isn't Strand Larsen, so that kind of puts that one off of the table as well. I believe that they're looking at somebody else as well for some bizarre reason. So I caught a piece on Connor's video that came out evening-wise a couple of hours ago, where he said that one of the sort of the well-renowned journalists in the Wolves area that speaks on Wolves on a regular basis, so our version of Graham Smith, has said in terms of outside influences, at least outside the club influences, looking at making this deal happen. So for me, the obvious one with that, it's definitely not Nottingham Forest in terms of Mianakis trying to make a deal happen. I think his agent is probably trying to push for a deal. We know his agent is a season ticket holder at Leeds. Could that mean? Probably doesn't, because there's an air of professionalism that goes with it as well. But could it potentially mean that he's looking at trying to broker a deal between the two clubs and make it happen? Basically, working as an agent would be the obvious way of looking at it. So, on that basis, the way that you look at it is the Premier League clubs that were looking at him as a player all seem to be falling by the wayside a little bit, just because of the moves that they're trying to make. So the Aston Villa swap deal for Crystal Palace, and so that takes Crystal Palace out of the equation. Then there was Nottingham Forest, so taking Nottingham Forest out of the equation because they've just signed a big, tall lump of a striker, the Sean Dyche style striker, if you like. So the people around us are kind of dropping a little bit, which only really leaves, or potentially could leave, and again, this is pure guesswork, this isn't me speculating, what I'm trying to do is pull all the information together into one. What it could mean is that they're not going to be rushed into making a decision, Wolves, and why should they? They want to be able to get the most amount of money for their player as humanly possible, and I completely understand that. There's obviously other sides to this in terms of players that we could be sending in an opposite direction. So Nonto's been mentioned, Peru's been mentioned, Peru, that's a country. Peru's been mentioned as make weights. Peru's stance in terms of leaving is, I don't want to leave. We're going to wait till the end of the season. So unless the club forces hand on that one, there's not a lot we can do about it. Nonto, I don't see Nonto leaving whatsoever at all. Do I think that there's a deal to be made? Yes. Could we potentially structure it? The one thing that I will say is that we were going to stretch to nearly 40 million for Pajau in the summer. So there's probably a secret fund of money that's available for a quote-unquote stretch target, which is what, in terms of the valuation of Strand Larsson, what he would be. He would be a stretch target for us. So there is the potential for that to happen. We were also willing to do the 10 million deal as well for Harry Wilson. So there's a little bit of wiggle room with the money in terms of the finances. Yes, there's a PSR thing that we need to make sure that we adhere to, but there's a way of structuring the deal and making sure that it gets structured in a particular way. My honest opinion is I don't think this will happen quickly. Watch me be proved wrong now. I don't think it'll happen quickly. I think this will run to... I tend to be in agreement with Jer at the Leeds view on this. Is I think this will run to the end of the window in terms of it actually, you know, all happening and things going on and stuff. So it's a case of just waiting and seeing. So, like I said, what I wanted to do was just put the information into there in terms of everybody, all the players, or all the chess pieces on the board, if you like. And I'm not trying to do definitives in terms of this. It's just, let's just do a big state of play as to where we're at. Hopefully this all makes sense. If it does, please like the video. Please comment on the video, your thoughts on this. Subscribe, notifications on. If you're listening on audio, please give me a like rating at the same time as well. That would be greatly appreciated. Take care of each other. Most importantly, take care of yourself. I will see you on the next one. Thank you as ever for your support. Really appreciate it. Cheers.